Welcome to sunny Cape Town, guys. In particular, we're here at the top of Franschoek Pass, and on today's episode of Everything You Need to Know, we're shooting the Ferrari 550 Barchetta Pininfarina. So as the name suggests, the Barchetta is based off of the 550 Maranello, which was launched in 1996 at the Nürburgring by Michael Schumacher himself. The Maranello was basically a long lineage of Grand Tourers with the V12 in the front, exactly how Enzo wanted it. He always wanted the horse pulling the cart. And the Barchetta came around because Ferrari wanted to celebrate Pininfarina's 70th birthday. They obviously have a long-standing relationship with Pininfarina. So 4 years after the Maranello was launched in 1996, the Barchetta was unveiled at the Paris Motor Show in 2000.
So other than this having no roof, what makes it different to normal 550 Maranello?
The only real difference is that this only came in manual. You couldn't order it in an F1. So yeah.
And then obviously, I'm guessing much more limited numbers?
Yeah, so much more limited numbers. Ferrari intended to actually only produce about 444 of these, but there's a superstition in the Japanese market with the number 4. So what they did is they increased the production up to 448 so that it wasn't a 444 and it didn't fall into that superstition.
And then obviously you have a car like this. I mean, today we're lucky we got the perfect weather for a car like this. Well, perfect, but you're still going to toast.
100%.
But yeah, obviously you've got to be quite selective when driving these.
So permanent roadster, basically. There is an emergency fabric top that comes with the car, but that thing takes forever to put up. And even once it's up, you can only go like 110 kilometers an hour with the roof. It doesn't even seal properly, so even if there's heavy downpour, it's still going to leak into the cabin. So it's a permanent roadster. Pretty much like a SP1 or a SP2 if you think about it.
And then with this as well, the windscreen is a bit more sloped than the normal one. Is that also for if you do happen to find yourself in the rain, that it goes over your head? Or
I don't know about that, but I mean, let's actually get into the design aspect, Steph. So obviously 550 Maranello is known for the front intake and over here on the bonnet. That is not just for cosmetic, that actually serves a function. There's 2 intake panels over here, and this forces air, basically by a ram intake, into the engine, gives it a little bit more power. What's also quite unique with the Barchetta, you've got the side slats over here on the fender. That's from a 250 GTO. The windscreen, as you pointed out, you can see the angle is actually 100 mil, it's actually lower. So the rake, what they call it, is 100 millimeters lower. It also has this lower section which is painted, and the windscreen is completely different to a normal Maranello's windscreen. Fun fact actually about this windscreen, it's designed in a way that if the car has to ever flip over, the whole weight of the vehicle can be supported by this here. And then we've also got the roll bars at the back, which also assist in the event that the vehicle turns over. It protects obviously the occupants down there. Interesting with the Barchetta, it came with exclusive Speedline wheels, 18-inch. Very unique size, quite hard to find tires actually. Scooter rear shields all fitted as standard. We went over the roll bar, and then obviously with no roof you just have this beautiful long back section over here. And then as you pointed out earlier, there's a intake on this side, but on the other side we don't have one. That's where your filler cap is. Intake here is to provide some additional cooling. And then all the Barchettas came with an aluminium filler cap over on that side. So pretty much all the Barchettas came with these carbon seats. You could option the vehicle with a comfort seat, which is the same as the normal Daytona style Maranello seat, but I've never really actually seen any of those. So carbon racing seats, and then you could option 4-point harnesses. I don't see a point in 4-point harness on a car like this. This is a cruiser and it's a Grand Tourer. It's everything that a Ferrari should be, in my opinion. So to have 4-point harnesses just makes absolutely no sense. Just makes everything so much harder. You've obviously dripping in carbon fiber. You've got the center console, you've got the gear lever, the steering wheel, the binnacle as well around the dials is carbon fiber. And then very interesting, you've got the Jaguar branded instrument dials as well. When the car was launched, Luca de Montezello was very involved in it. You had to be invited by Ferrari to buy one of these. You couldn't walk into the dealership and purchase one. Ferrari actually held a private event way before the Paris Motor Show where they invited all of the VIPs to look at it, view it, sit in it, touch, feel, everything. and they could confirm their orders and spec the vehicles at that point. You could pretty much do whatever color you want. A lot of them come in red. I don't think it's a great color for this car. I don't think it suits it. Your silvers, your light blues, the dark grays, even blue potsy looks fantastic. This one in particular is Grigio Alloy, and it's just, I think it suits the shape perfect for the vehicle.
And then with this car being so limited, do you know how many came into South Africa?
Yeah, so we originally had 4 delivered to South Africa. 1 was exported, so there are 3 original South African cars, South African original imports in here. And there are 2 grey imports in the country as well, 1 from the UK and then 1 from Singapore.
And in terms of investment numbers, I mean, these are obviously worth a lot more than the normal 550s, and in general all the Ferraris become quite good investment pieces.
100%. So look, what you have to remember, a few things with this car: individually numbered. That is a massive thing, especially when you look at later special model Ferraris, where they put 1 of 499 or 1 of 799. Those numbers are not always accurate. However, when you individually number a car, that's all you can really make. You can't jipper the system, essentially. So that is a big thing, individually numbered. This one in particular, very special because it is the very last one of the production lot, number 448 of 448. Steph cut to the B-roll of the plaque so that we can show everyone. And then the other thing that you need to remember with this car, what makes it very special, it is the last manual permanent V12 Roadster Ferrari ever made. Some people in the comments are gonna, bring up the 575 Super America. However, that's not a permanent Roadster because it's got the glass top that goes on over it. So this is the last permanent Roadster V12 ever made. And Steph, you're talking about investments. This car was the successor to the Daytona Spider. And if you look at the Daytona Spider values, around 2 million, $1.5 to $2 million. Another thing to consider, Daytona Spiders, they made about 1,400 of those worldwide. So this is roughly a third of that, essentially. So in my opinion, very undervalued.
So since you could buy these cars by invitation only, did Ferrari do anything different when they launched it, like to entice people to buy it?
So like I told you earlier, they invited all the VIPs for this vehicle to the factory, held a private viewing. We actually have photos of the original owner at that VIP event, which is quite cool. But what Ferrari did, which is very unique, is when they sold you the vehicle, you got 2 open face helmets. Very cool, also very expensive if you lose them. So if you're going to buy a Barchetta, make sure you have them. Going rate on the helmets now is around 180,000 Rand for 2. So yeah, make sure it comes with the helmets. With the helmets, you also get a Ferrari branded cap that has a little leather visor, just exactly like the helmet. There was also a luggage set that would be offered with the vehicle. That's also about 150,000, 160,000 Rand to replace. Like we said, you obviously got the emergency fabric top, and yeah, I mean the main value is the individually numbered little plaque on the interior. What is quite cool, Luca de Monticello, when you ordered one, sent you a letter, hand signed by him, congratulating you on your purchase. And then when you took delivery of the vehicle, he would send you another letter as well, hand signed by him. And what Ferrari offered is the VIP clients could come to the factory and take delivery of the vehicles there, which this original owner of this did, and we do have the photos for that as well, which is obviously all going to be going into the album. And he drove the car around Italy for about a month, and then the car got shipped to South Africa.
So with all that, I guess the only thing left to ask is what does it drive like?
Oh man, you can't beat an open top V12 plus manual. What makes this one even better, Tubi Exhausts. So Steph, I think you're going to cut to some footage and we can see what it's like to drive.